Yes, hi people, welcome back to my YouTube. So today we are covering looking at tools and frameworks we use in monitoring and evaluating projects. Yeah. So these are the tools and frameworks you need to know as a monitoring and evaluation framework, an evaluation expert that you need to know, and when you're doing your monitoring and evaluation. This is also a very common questions when you're being asked what are the tools you'll be using to monitor and evaluating this project. So pay keen attention. You may know the tools, but in that moment you may not know that these are actually the tools and frameworks I need, and I'm going to do my monitoring and evaluation of a particular project or development intervention or program. So our tool number one is a monitoring and evaluation framework. Yeah. So just to give a hint, I did a video on the monitoring and evaluation framework, so check it out in the link in the description below. Yeah, also just go to my YouTube and search the monitoring and evaluation framework in my channel, and you will learn more about the monitoring and evaluation framework. So here I'm just summarizing basic tools you need to know for monitoring and evaluation and evaluating projects. Yeah, the M&E framework is a document that articulates the purpose, scope, and structure and guidelines for conducting monitoring and evaluation. Yeah, it's a guide that you use in carrying out the process of monitoring and evaluation. The framework is it's a plan for monitoring. Yeah, so just to go back a bit, the first tools I'm looking at, these are planning tools you need to know. You need to design when you're doing your monitoring and evaluation. So one of the planning tools, number one, is the monitoring and evaluation framework. Yeah, as I said, it's a planning tool for monitoring in concrete steps and provides information regarding who, what, where, and when the monitoring will be done. Yeah, it can also be a set of tools used to measure the project's progress. Yeah, so it's important for you as M&E expert or monitoring and evaluation officer to monitor your project and identify either potential problems or lessons learned or challenges that you could be addressed. But this guiding document, it helps you to articulate how you'll be conducting your monitoring and evaluation by outlining who, what, where, and when the monitoring and evaluation should be done. Yeah. So this is an example of monitoring and evaluation framework. Yeah. Here we have the Logframe levels, which I talked about the hierarchies. The hierarchy of results. So here you have your impact, which is you clearly define it. In this case, they define the impact as target populations have improved the health status. And then what is the indicator of the impact you've defined? What will show that the target populations have improved the health status is a percentage of children less than 5 with diarrhea in 2 weeks preceding the survey. And this is the data is disaggregated by age, sex, and districts. You indicate your baseline values, where is the project starting from, and your target for the end line. So their target is 15%. Yeah, you also have to indicate what will be the means of verifications of data source to verify this data. In this case, they mentioned the baseline and inline surveys will help them to know the data source or verify the data that approximately this percentage of children under 5 years don't have diarrhea in 2 weeks preceding the surveys. And you have also indicate how frequently the data will be collected. And for them, it's like they indicated that this will be done before and after the program activities. Yeah. Then we have who will be responsible are the M&E assistants. So you do this for all your project hierarchies. So here they have 3 outcomes depending on the project, which are all outlined, described. The indicators, the disaggregation, the baseline values, the endline targets, what will be the means of verifications of all the data sources, then how frequently will this data be collected, and who will be responsible, and also the outputs. Yeah, these outputs feed into the outcomes. Yeah, and the outcomes feed into the overall impact or long-term objective. So that is an example of the M&E framework. But as I said, you can go to look at my video on the M&E framework to understand or study more about this concept. Yeah. The second tool is the theory of change. Just recently, I just uploaded a video about the theory of change. Also check that out. But this is, in simple terms, a pictorial view of how change of a project will occur. So here, it's a planning tool you use to visualize how change of a project is going to occur. This is a very important planning tool for any project. And with this tool, the theory of change, you can actually design a whole project because it includes the project outcomes, the outputs, the activities, everything that a project intends to do to achieve the certain change they want to attain. So shortly is an example of the theory of change. An example of the theory of change. Yeah. So above we have so this is an example of the theory of change. This is an example I've got from the internet. You can search it out. You can review it. This is the hunger project, and this is the global theory of change. So the change they hope to achieve is having a sustainable, vibrant, healthy rural communities free from hunger and poverty. That's what they want to achieve. That is their change. And in here, they're outlining what will actually help us lead to that change. We start from the bottom. These are the outputs that we hope to help us lead to the change of having a sustainable, vibrant, healthy rural communities. This is a change. Free from hunger and poverty. Sustainable, vibrant rural communities free from hunger and poverty. That is the change we hope to achieve. So how will we achieve that? One, we are going to do education and leadership trainings on hunger. Form partnerships with local NGOs or CBOs. Deploy animators, participatory action and researchers. Do local community development initiatives on health, education, and agriculture. Empower our women by creating agencies, vision, commitment, and action workshop. Establish local governance structures, gender equity work. We're going to do gender equity work. We're going to do microfinancing in Africa, and then advocate for the government accountability. That is, government builds and equips schools with health facilities, latrines, and other structures. It will build us our impact over a sustainable, free society from hunger and poverty. Yeah, so we hope. How will we achieve that? So here you're visualizing and theorizing the change of the impact. These are the outputs that we're going to do to help us achieve that change. So if we do that, those are outputs. What will come out of the outputs I've mentioned below? And this is, yeah, so if we do our education and leadership training and form partnerships with local NGOs and CBOs, it will lead us to have effective donor or investor cultivation. Yeah, and if we do local community development and health education, vision commitment, establish local governments, this will help us in achieving our community mobilization that will help more effective community leadership, increase agency mind with the microfinance, and stronger collaborations and alliances. Yeah. Also, if we do all the outputs I've mentioned above, they will lead us to have food security and good advocacy and alliances. That is, increase access to nutritious food and household and community level, improve agriculture systems, strengthen partnerships with civil society. Yeah. Also, when we do the outputs mentioned, I've mentioned below, like formal partnerships, to lead us to have water and sustainable water, sanitation, woodlots. So these are the outcomes that are coming from the outputs. And then this will ideally lead us to the theorized change overall, that is the gender-based rights, strengthen multilateral public policies, electoral reform, replication, and then human rights supported. We are going to see human rights supported and protected, decentralized political power, government implementing driven, and poverty strategies. So here in the theory of change, they have the outputs that will lead to the short-term outcomes. There are very many outcomes. They have community mobilization, food security, advocacy and alliances, income generation, water and sanitation, good governance, literacy and education, gender equity and human rights, health and nutrition. Yeah. Under this, the overall outcome under this is the shifts in community capacity and conditions. And second short-term outcomes are gender equity, water and sanitation, income generation, health and nutrition. These are under the community impact outcome. And these will lead to the long-term outcomes, which are gender-based rights, country strategies, strengthen multilateral collaborations, electoral reforms, feeding into our overall theory of change, the change, the impact that is having all this done. If you theorize all this done, the outputs, the activities, the outcomes, all these will lead to the overall theory of change, the change or the impact we hope to achieve, that is a sustainable, vibrant, healthy rural communities free from hunger and poverty. So that's the theory of change. That's basically a brief about the theory of change, that you design it from down to the top. You first create what is the change you want to achieve and how will you achieve that. By theorizing, this is what we're going to do to actually achieve this change. And this is actually, if we achieve these outcomes, this is leading to the change you hope to achieve. So that's basically it. This is about this is the hunger project. Yeah, but you can understand more in my video. Look it up in my video about the theory of change. So that is it about the theory of change. That is our second planning tool you need to know or do when you're going to do to monitor and evaluate a particular project or development intervention or a mill officer. That is another tool you need to know and have as a mill officer for any project. Yeah, so tool number 2 is the monitoring and evaluation plan. Yeah, the M&E plan is a tool used to manage the process of monitoring and evaluation and reporting progress towards the results. This tool can be used in conjunction with other tools such as work plans. Of course, as the M&E, you need your work plan, your procurement plans, and financial plan. It's a managerial tool that specifies the schedules, resources, responsibilities, and responsibility for your result-based monitoring and evaluation activities. That is, who will be responsible for the data collection, the data quality control, reporting, what is the frequency of reporting, how will the data be disseminated, and how will the data be used. So the M&E plan is a document that outlines all those processes. Any project or monitoring and evaluation that is going to be done on a project, this is a very important planning tool that needs to be done or worked on when you're going to monitor and evaluate your project. My third tool is the logical framework. Of course, you know this is a very important tool also. Some people say it's a Bible of M&E. It's a 4x4 matrix in which the intervention logic, that is the overall objective, purpose, expected results, activities, assumptions, objectively verifiable indicators, and source of verification are presented. Yeah, it's a management tool that you use to improve the design of your interventions. So just briefly, a sample of the logical framework. As I said, it's a 4x4 matrix that has the hierarchy of results still. We have our goal, our outcomes, the outputs, and activities. And it has the narratives, the indicators, the means of verifications, and the assumptions. So here, just a sample Briefly, their impact, their goal or impact is have a decreased breast cancer morbidity and mortality in LMCs. And the indicator what will show that there is decreased breast cancer is breast cancer morbidity, mortality rates in LMC. How will we know what will be the source or means of verification? This data is National Health Service. Yeah, and then you can put an assumption that maybe it will be reliable data. And then the outcomes, they have the long-term outcome that is increase in early detection of cancer, then short-term increased awareness relating to breast cancer, increased attendance for clinical breast examinations, increased self-examinations, and then the indicators, percentage of cases detected early, percentage of participants demonstrating, increase in knowledge, number of attendees, and BS. Yeah, and what will be the source of data means of verification? That the clinical records will show us that we've attained this outcome. Pre and post tests or baseline endlines. Assumptions, maybe there is a lack of knowledge, may be a significant barrier to the examination. Yeah, participants may have economic and physical access to the clinics. That is assuming if the project recipients or text messages are illiterate. Yeah, so you need to know if you made those assumptions and some of them are negative based on the experience of others in the project, how will you be able to handle those assumptions? Then the outputs. These are outputs are the ones that lead to the outcomes. Yeah. So if one of the long-term outcome is increase in early detection of cancer, our output is women receive text messages through the health program. Yeah, text messages received, the indicator, the means of verifications, and target audience. And this output activities that hope to be done to achieve this output is a health program, breast cancer education and examination, reminders via phone, mobile phones. Yeah, so they hope to do text message reminders on the health programs and breast cancer detection, maybe teaching people about that through text messages or online, so they can read an article and understand how they can detect it early. But we'll show that this is a done number of text messages done, text message records, that is means of verification and assumption. So that is brief. This is sample logical frameworks. It's a 4x4 matrix outlining the hierarchy of results, as the impact, the outcome, the outputs, and activities. And you need you're also indicating what is the action narrative of these impact, outcomes, and outputs, indicators, the means of verifications, and assumptions. It's actually summarizing your whole project and how you'll be able to verify or monitor that you're actually achieving the outcomes intended in the project. Yeah, so tool number 4, so that's about the planning tools used in monitoring and evaluating projects or development interventions. Tool number 4, we have the balance scorecard. Balance scorecard is a management tool that provides stakeholders with a comprehensive measure of how the organization is progressing towards the achievement of its strategic goals. Yeah, every entity has its vision, mission, and values and strategy. Yeah, any entity must have that. You must have your vision, your mission, values, and strategy. So the balance scorecard acts as a bridge to bridge the gap between the strategy and action of an organization. As you've heard, many organizations have strategies. Yeah, so this acts as a bridge to bridge the gap between the strategy of an organization and its action. It harmonizes the implementation and focus with the strategic initiatives and the personal objectives. Yeah, it's a measurement tool. It's a tool used to measure systems, performance systems, and communication mechanism of an organization. So if you want to measure your systems, performance systems, and communication systems in an organization, basing your new strategy and action plans this is the right tool to use, a balance scorecard. So I'll be doing a more detailed video about this. You can comment in the section below, in the comment section, if you want a more detailed video about how the balance scorecard. Yeah, it's also a tool used for monitoring strategic decisions taken by the company based on the indicators previously established, and that should permit through at least 4 aspects. Yeah, so you can use this tool to monitor strategic decisions of a company based on at least 4 of the aspects of a company. That is the financial aspects, the customer, the internal processes, the learning, and the growth. Those are the 4 aspects you can use to monitor, evaluate strategic decisions of a company. Yeah, based on these 4 aspects. Because as you know, most companies have these in common. Yeah. So also this works very well with companies that are customer based. Yeah. So we are looking at the financial aspects. What is the review on that? How are you faring? What is the customer feedback on our products? How are our internal processes? We have to evaluate, are they well? Are we doing well on our internal processes? Is maybe our quality assurance well, good? How is our learning and growth? Is there learning and growth in our company or development? You can use this tool to analyze all those aspects. So a sample of a balance scorecard for an e-commerce business. Yeah, as I said, there are 4 perspectives or aspects under the balance scorecard you have to evaluate or monitor. The financial perspective, the customer's perspective, the internal processes, and the learning and growth. So here we're looking at the financial perspective is 1. They have the objective is to increase sales and reduce costs. Yeah, financially. Goals is the goal is or target is a 15% increase in net sales and 10% decrease in the operating costs. Yeah, indicator of this will be the financial statement. So show us whether there is an increase in net profits by 15% and maybe a 10% decrease in the 10% in operating costs. Definitely, the type financial statements will show us. Our initiatives is we have to increase that. We have to negotiate with suppliers so that we can reduce on maybe our operating costs. Yeah, and also customers, if we can create a more customer base. Yeah, and our customer perspective, here they hope to be a reference for a variety of products. Yeah, the goal or target is increase in launching new products every quarter by 15%. That is for our e-commerce business. Indicator the number of new products, of course, launched, and initiatives to create an innovation and development committee that can think creatively to innovate new products every year. Yeah, and our internal processor perspective as an e-commerce business, we hope to. Our objective is to be able to develop new products constantly. Yeah, internally, and our goal is to start at least 5 new products development projects every month. Every month, if you can start to have at least 5 new product development projects, it will be good for us. So you're analyzing and analyzing what should we do as our e-commerce business, and that's what they're stating using the balance scorecard tool or method. Yeah. The indicator project innovation reports and our initiatives, maybe if you can acquire specific software for managing product developments. Yeah. Then under our learning and growth as an e-commerce business, yeah, we hope to our objectives to have extremely knowledgeable staff in the development, in the product development. Yeah. And our goal or target is to have at least 2 professionals with master's degree in product development. So this is an e-commerce that deals in producing products. Yeah, and then an indicator is the number of product development professionals with master's degrees. Yeah, and initiatives, what we hope to do to achieve these goals or targets we've set is select an employee to receive master's training and hire another with a master's degree. So that's how you can do your balance scorecard for any organization or a business by internalizing those 4 aspects of financial, customer, internal process, and learning and growth. Yeah, what are the objectives of your different perspectives? What goals or targets do you want to achieve? What are the indicators that you would have achieved those targets? And what initiatives are you able to put in place to achieve the targets? Yeah. The other tool is the citizen report card. So this is a tool used to provide public agencies with systematic feedback from users of public services. How? By collecting feedback on the quality and advocacy of the public services from actual users. This is a very common tool used by governments to receive feedback on the quality of their products. For example, this can be used to, as we've seen the road issue in Kampala. It's been a very rainy season, and most roads are so bad. There are a lot of potholes. It has affected the road and safety measures, so many accidents. So this is a tool they probably use for the cases report that was given out on the road safety, to get people's feedback on the service of the roads. Yeah. And of course, the feedback was that the roads are very poor, and the government was able to give in like 6 billion to cater for the very poor roads and potholes. So this is a tool you can use to get feedback on the quality and advocacy of services. This is mostly used, as I said, by the public. Yeah, that is the citizen report cards. Then other tools, we have the data collection tools. These are very common, and as a M&A experts, you know them. We have one, the questionnaires. You can use them in surveys. At a question, you have to make your questionnaires also very smart and precise and to the point, and also not to make very long questionnaires. It can become very cumbersome for the people filling in the questionnaires, time, cautiousness. You have to fill that in. Then we have the focus group discussions. These are basically for community interventions, where you can have a focus group discussing, and you want to analyze how are they discussing the issues, what you can pick out. Yeah, what is the response to the project. Yeah. Then visual ads. These are just how you can visualize or put in pictures your projects. Yeah, your project interventions or impacts. Yeah. So visuals. These are you can go. It's like you can go take pictures of if it's like a service project where you give services and you see how people have responded to these services. So you just basically putting this in a pictorial form, a visual form, that's summarizing the impact of the project, but you're collecting the data through pictures. In attendance sheets or schedules, this can be done in workshops. If you're conducting workshops of a project, you take the attendance sheets and maybe reviews of how the workshop has been. Have these people understand what's the topic of discussion relevant to them. Yeah. And key informant interview guides. It's very important for you if you're going to do an interview. These are also very common in community-based projects, so one-on-one of maybe if you look at the ESC projects where they're evaluating the ESC 2020 framework, different NGOs that are involved in the ESC interventions. Key informant are also very good because they're actually specific to the personnel you're going to interview. So you have a guide that is going to guide you on what to interview on based on the aspect you're interviewing on our project intervention. Yeah. So that has been it. The tools and frameworks you have to use or know as an M&E personnel in conducting your monitoring and evaluation either of the project or program or performance intervention. Thank you very much again. Subscribe and like to my channel, share the videos, subscribe. It helps me in developing my channel, and like the videos and leave a comment really in the comment section. Thank you again. Thank you. So yeah.